That boy pregnant. Oh shit, everybody come, they can't do nothing to us. Shit, we chillin'. They can't do nothing to no nigga. Hell no.
Yo Lil Kenny basically described in detail what the hell happened with the freaking murder of Big Jook. I don't think that if you saw Big Jook's murder that some bullshit won't happen. The man was too powerful. Everybody who talks about Yo Gotti, they never talk about how integral freaking Big Jook was. He was the ear to the music, the ear to the streets.
The moment the news broke that the man accused of taking Yo Gotti's brother was finally in cuffs, the streets felt that shift immediately. This wasn't just another arrest scrolling across a phone screen. This was a chapter turning in a story that's been heavy, painful, and unresolved for years. Yo Gotti has always carried himself with a certain calm, even when life tried to break him, but this situation cut deeper than music, money, or fame ever could. Losing his brother wasn't just a headline, it was a permanent scar, something he's referenced quietly, carefully, never trying to turn real pain into promo. So when word spread that law enforcement finally made an arrest, people weren't just watching the case, they were watching Gotti himself. His reaction didn't come wrapped in celebration or loud victory laps. Instead, it came with that grown man energy, the kind that says justice don't erase loss. It just lets you breathe a little easier.
5 police sources have confirmed with Fox 13 that the person killed is Anthony Mims, also known as Big Jook. Now, Big Jook is the brother of rapper Yo Gotti.
A deadly shooting in Hickory Hill with connections to Memphis rapper Yo Gotti.
Folks close to him say this arrest didn't spark joy, it sparked reflection, because no cell, no sentence, no courtroom moment can bring his brother back. The streets know that feeling too well, where closure is never clean, never complete, just quieter than before. Gotti's response carried weight because he didn't beg for sympathy or scream revenge. He stood firm, showing that strength ain't always loud, sometimes it's disciplined silence. Behind the scenes, people say he's been locked in with family, making sure everyone stays grounded because moments like this can reopen wounds just as fast as they close them. This wasn't about clout, it was about accountability, about finally seeing movement after years of questions, rumors, and frustration. The arrest sent a message through Memphis and beyond, reminding everyone that time doesn't erase consequences, it just delays them. Yo Gotti's posture showed maturity, growth, and that real boss mentality, where you let the system play its role instead of letting emotions run wild. Fans noticed how he didn't weaponize the moment, didn't taunt, didn't gloat, and that restraint spoke louder than any viral post ever could. In a culture where pain often gets turned into content, Gotti moved the opposite way, choosing respect over reaction, and that earned him even more respect in return. People online had plenty to say, but Gotti's calm response shut down a lot of noise, reminding everyone that this was a family matter first, public news second. The arrest may have closed one door, but it also reminded the world that behind every rap story is real loss, real grief, and real people still healing. And as the case moves forward, all eyes remain on how justice unfolds, not just for the headlines, but for the family that's been waiting on this moment for far too long. As the dust settled after the arrest, the bigger picture started to hit people even harder, because this wasn't just about one man getting locked up, it was about years of unanswered pain finally being acknowledged.
Right now, we do have video that we're analyzing, but we don't have a clear suspect identified at this time. But we know that a weapon was used, a firearm was used in this incident. We do feel like the individual that was shot was possibly targeted by the suspect.
Yo Lil Kenny basically described in detail what the hell happened with the freaking murder of Big Jook. I don't think that if you saw Big Jook's murder that some bullshit won't happen. The man was too powerful. Everybody who talks about Yo Gotti, they never talk about how integral freaking Big Jook was. He was the ear to the music, the ear to the streets.
For Yo Gotti, this moment brought back memories he's kept buried under work, loyalty, and survival instincts. People forget that before the plaques, the private jets, and the executive titles, he came from a place where loss was normal and justice was rare. That's why this arrest carried so much weight, especially in Memphis, where too many families never see accountability at all. The streets started talking immediately, not in celebration, but in that serious tone that says, "So it really happened." Finally, Gotti's reaction stayed measured, almost guarded, because he knows better than anyone that emotions can spiral when the cameras turn on. Those close to him say this moment wasn't about revenge. It was about standing on principle, about letting the truth come to light without adding chaos to an already painful situation. The industry watched closely too, because this showed a different side of strength, one that doesn't need theatrics to feel powerful. Instead of dropping cryptic threats or emotional rants, Gotti let the facts speak, and that silence spoke volumes. Fans respected that move because it showed growth, discipline, and a refusal to turn real tragedy into viral noise. At the same time, the arrest reopened conversations about how street violence follows people long after they make it out, proving that success doesn't put a shield around your loved ones. This situation reminded everyone that fame can't erase the past and money can't undo trauma. Gotti's name started trending not for music, but for resilience, for handling something devastating without letting it consume him publicly. The streets noticed how he stayed focused, still handling business, still showing up for his people, even while processing something this heavy. That balance isn't easy, especially when grief mixes with justice in such a complicated way. People online tried to stir things up, speculating, reaching, and adding sauce where it didn't belong, but Gotti never fed into it. That alone shut down a lot of nonsense, because when someone who's actually affected refuses to play along, the noise dies out fast. This arrest also sent a message to younger generations watching closely, showing that patience and persistence sometimes bring answers, even if they come late. It didn't erase the loss, but it validated the pain, and for many families, that validation matters more than outsiders understand. Gotti's response showed that healing doesn't always look like smiles or relief. Sometimes it looks like calm acceptance and quiet strength. As the legal process continues, the focus stays where it belongs, on accountability, not spectacle. This moment didn't turn into a victory lap, it turned into a reminder of how fragile life really is, no matter your status. And through it all, Yo Gotti stood solid, proving once again that real power is knowing when not to say too much, when to let justice move on its own, and when to protect your peace above everything else.